gon' have to love yourself. You gon' have to love yourself.
Hello all, Cody the Grand here, Cody Little, whatever you want to call me. And welcome to another episode of the Grand Podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm happy you kicking it with me. I hope that something that I say during this experience together is fruitful for you. I hope I give you something you can take with you to enlighten, educate, or just entertain you. Hope you're having a wonderful day, bro. Hope you're having a great day, sis. I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get right into it. Honestly, guys, this episode has taken a lot for me to record. I was supposed to record this a very long time ago, and it just kept getting pushed back. And I kept giving myself reasons to hesitate on this. And I just couldn't wait no more. I just got to give y'all what I got. July 6, 2022, I got robbed. Robbed. Like by a dude with a gun, robbed.
Terrifying moments when a man is carjacked by someone he gave a ride home from church.
An alarming incident in Whitehaven when a church member is carjacked by a man he was trying to help.
Yep, they are talking about me. So yes, as they just kind of said, I might as well give y'all the real story real quick. I was training for a marathon on a Wednesday night. My first marathon I'm going to participate in at the end of this year. So I was feeling good, feeling pumped up. I had on my running gear. And I knew that I wanted to continue working that evening. You know how it is after you exercise, like your adrenaline going, you feeling like you can conquer the world. You just want to stay productive, dog. That's just kind of the vibe. So I was in a real productive mode. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to my church. I'm going to go get my equipment from my church. I'm going to come back home. I'm going to record some music. For those who don't know, my father is a pastor. I work for my father in his church. And yeah, I'm ratchet as hell, but I do love Jesus. Anyway, I was going to pick up some equipment from my church because, feeling motivated to work. So I get there, I get to the church. I'm like, bet no one's here. I just see one car outside. That's perfect. It's the car that my dad had been riding in. So I'm like, okay, my dad's here. Cool. I get in the church, unlock the door. I see this young man inside my church, inside my vestibule. And I greet the young man. It's a Wednesday night. We have Bible study on Wednesday night. We have a lot of youth from the neighborhood coming in on Wednesday night to partake in the classes with the other kids around. So it wasn't unfamiliar for a young man to be in the church on a Wednesday night at this time that I was there. So I see the young man. I shake his hand. I'm like, how you doing, brother? What's up? I see my father in the sanctuary through the window. I see my father talking to another gentleman who's a friend of his. So I just naturally assume, okay, this young man is more than likely with that dude my old man talking to. No problem. I'm going to go get my stuff. I'm going to come out. Boom, bap, bap. I got work to do. Bet. I go grab my equipment. I walk in the sanctuary before I walk outside to greet my dad, to greet his friend. And then I just ask, I said, hey, is this young man out in the front? Is he with one of you guys? They both say no. Immediate red flag. So I'm like, okay, well, this young man is not with y'all, so all right. So I walk up to the front. I see the young man no longer standing inside of the church, but he is now sitting outside of the church on the steps. So I go outside, right? I lock the door. I sit on the steps with him. I just chop it up with him. I deal with a lot of young adults on a very regular basis, no different. I could tell by looking at him, he had to be between 16 and 19, somewhere in there. So we just chopping it up. I'm asking him what he doing, why he hanging around. He was saying he was waiting on his ride. He was talking about how he had participated in the youth class earlier that night. He talked about some of the stuff they did in the class. So, cool. I just sat there and I talked with him about, who his favorite rappers were, just, kind of music he liked to listen to. Talked about girls a little bit, just kind of rap with him. We probably talked for maybe 13, 14 minutes. So I asked him, I said, hey, do you want to call your ride? He said, no problem. Yeah, so I gave him my phone. He dialed a number. I'm assuming he's calling his ride. No one's there. So I say, hey, after we had talked for a little while, I'm like, hey, bro, I'll take you where you got to go. He gave me an address to a house. So I'm like, yo, I'll take you to the crib because it was only 6 minutes away from the church. So I was like, come on, no problem. So he said, perfect, bet, easy peasy, easy night. So we get in the car, we're riding up the street, we still talking. And, I'm getting closer to where the GPS has me going. And we pull into this cove. We're still in the same area of the church, kind of close. So I'm like, I'm feeling safe. I don't feel like any red flags are going off. We pull into this cove. see some nice houses. I'm familiar with the cove. And he was like, yeah, it's the third house over here to the right. So I start slowing down. As I slow down, the young man pulls a gun out of his backpack and just points it at me and goes, go on, lay down, bro. You already know what's up. So at this point, I throw my car in park. I just kind of look at him, I'm just like, this is really happening right now. This is really happening right now. You are about to rob me. My first thought while the gun was looking at me was not he will kill me or he want to kill me. My first thought is he could kill me. Even just by making a mistake, he can flinch the wrong way and his hand jerk or the gun can misfire, anything. So I'm already like, you know what? Let me de-escalate this gun being pointed at me first. This is not the first time a gun has been pointed at me. Just kind of growing up in Memphis, doing what young bad kids do. I've already been in stuff and I've had guns pointed at me. Just keeping it real with y'all. This may be actually the fourth time a gun has been in my face, which is what led to the embarrassment in the moment, because I told myself that I would never be in another predicament where someone held a gun at me. So this young man has a gun on me while I'm in the car. And I'm just kind of looking at him. I throw the car in park. I'm like, look, bro, you can have whatever it is you want. Just leave me with my life. It ain't even, whatever it is you want, it ain't even worth it. But I'm also, at the same time, I'm just kind of feeling a little embarrassed because I know in that moment, y'all, it hit me right then. I know. I was like, bro, the first thing people gonna say, dog, is you shouldn't have put him in the car with you. That whole thing. So, but whatever. I get out the car. The young man walks me about 15 feet up the street. And I hear him counting. And then he asked me to lay down on the ground. I refused to do that. I was like, I'm not going to lay down. I had my hands up. I was like, look, bro, like I said, you can take whatever you want. Just leave me with my life. And I was like, if you'll be so kind, you can really throw my license out the window. You know what I'm saying? That'll really help me out. Of course he didn't do that. But so he tells me to turn around and keep walking. So I kept walking until I heard my car drive off. So right then, as soon as I turn around, I see the car at the end of the street and it makes the turn. I immediately go into like a praise break. Like I'm just thanking God for, me having my life. I'm thanking God that all he took from me was some stuff. He took my car. My wallet was in the car. I had my rent in the car. My drums were in the car. My DJ equipment was in the car. Just like how I make my money. So all I'm thinking about was like, thank you, Lord. I'm just grateful that God thank you, Lord. Spared my life. And I'm praying right then, like, okay, Lord, just let him leave my car intact. Let him leave my equipment intact. And I'm going to find him. So boom, right then, it hits me. My phones are in the car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk to one of these houses and ask one of these people to call the police so they can track the phone in real time. Wham, bam, find the car, locate that bad boy. We know exactly where this young brother is. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? Makes sense to you? Makes sense to you? Because it made sense to me. But that didn't happen. This part of the story always kind of gets me emotional because I have to say this. The robbery, y'all, wasn't the part that plagues my mind. The robbery isn't the part that hurts my feelings. The next part is the part that really puts me in my feels. As I'm walking to the nearest nice house I see, like I said, I wanted to knock on the door, ask them to call the police for me. I was gonna stand outside, just so the police could come and do what they do. I'm walking up this driveway, y'all, and there's a gentleman outside of his home. And I'm like, okay, bet. Like, I got my hands up. I'm walking to him. Before I could even greet the gentleman, he says, and excuse my language for the people who don't like cussing, but he says, I don't fucking know you. Get your ass on. Take your ass on up the street. I don't fucking know you. So when he says that, I'm like, look, sir, I don't mean any harm. I just got robbed about 30 feet up the street. I'm just trying to call the police, and I'm trying to get back to my dad at the church around the corner. And he continued to yell, I don't fucking know you. I don't fucking know you. Get your ass on. Get off my property. So I'm like, okay. Okay. So, boom, right then, I just say to myself, bro, you just got to walk to the church. So I did. I started walking. I'm still on the street, y'all. Like, I'm still looking at the spot that I just got robbed. I'm still on the street, so I'm like, I'm just going to walk on to the church. So I started walking. And right when I start walking, right when I make the turn off the cove, it hits me like, man, this man really treated me really ugly. This man really, wow. And I said, I can't judge him because what just happened to me is why he is like this. This is how you harden your heart to the world. This is what conforming to the ways of this world looks like in real time. This is, as I like to say in my life, this is the result of life beating your ass. And you got to do what you got to do to protect you and yours. It turns you into that. So I said right then, y'all, like as I'm walking, I said right then, Lord, do not let this change me. I've never prayed that prayer before. I've never had that thought before about any incident in my life, y'all. But at that very moment, the only thing I could ask God for was, Lord, please don't let this change me. Don't let this incident turn me into him. Please, God, like, I love this about me, y'all. I love that I'm the kind of guy that would put a stranger in my car. I love that I'm the kind of guy that would see a young man and feel a certain type of way about making sure that young man gets assistance, especially a young man in the vicinity of my church, somewhere that I frequent. That church has my last name on it. My father is the pastor. So if anybody got to treat that young man with some love, it got to be me. I will protect the reputation of my family. That's the best way to do it, showing the love that we're known to show. Trying, in a sense, to be Christ-like. So all I could think, y'all, was like, Lord, please don't let this moment change me. Please don't let this moment turn me into just a bitter man, a hard man. I'm not saying I don't want to grow from the experience and learn and evolve into a better me. I just don't want it to change me because I love the parts about me that lead with giving. So, as I'm praying that prayer, I have another thought. Okay, one of my church members lives like at the halfway mark between where I was and my church. I was gonna go to his apartment, knock on the door, get him to call the police, and get him to give me a ride to the church, to my dad. Easy. Makes sense to you because it made sense to me. As I'm walking up to his apartment, I see a young man that I don't know. I see a young man just parking his car. And I just did it, y'all. I just went up to the car. I just asked the young man, same thing with my hands up. I'm like, sir, I just got robbed a couple of minutes ago, and I am trying to get 3 minutes from this location. I'm trying to get to the church right on the 2 streets over. If you could just help me with a ride, I will sit on the back of your car. Not even in your car. I'll sit on the back of this bad boy if you need me to. I will stand on the roof if you let me do that. But just help me get to where I'm going. He looked me up and down. He kind of saw that I looked like I had kind of gone through it because I was covered in sweat. Like I told y'all earlier, I had been working out. So I still had my run gear on, like a big baggy white shirt and some running shorts and some running shoes. So I guess he just looked at me like, this dude he needs some help. So he obliged me. He took me to the church. And it's crazy, y'all, because on the way to the church, the dude was like, man, I've been looking for another church home to check out on Sundays. I just right there, I'm like, man, shit, come see about us Sunday morning, 9:30, come kick it. So I thought that was cool to be able to invite him to church. But I get out, knock on the door. My dad and his friends still in there talking. They come out, they hear me. He like, what's going on? I'm like, Dad, I just got robbed. We go in, call the police right then from the church phone. I pay for OnStar, so the police were able to use OnStar in that moment to track my car down. Y'all, they found my car in less than 20 minutes. And what's crazier is my car was closer to the church than the house that I took the young man to. Like, he took my car, went right around the corner, and ramshacked through everything, took all my equipment out, took everything out, got my wallet, got my money out of it. And just left my car. So thank God my car was fine. All of my equipment was there. Found my phones, found both my phones outside in like a little foresty looking area. As I tell y'all this story, one part that I reflect on often is the young man who took me to the church. You know, it's crazy that I was taken advantage of by one stranger and I was blessed by another. And that moment just showed me that, like, same thing I said earlier, this didn't have to change me, y'all. Like, there are people out here that even though they are reluctant, they'll still give you assistance. They'll help you. They'll lead with love, even if they feel a little bit uncomfortable doing it. And I just thought that was amazing. So, but back to the story. So I get my car back. I had to pick the young man out of a lineup. They ended up putting the story on the news, as you just saw, and that's how they ended up finding the young man. But y'all, being robbed does something different to you, you know? Being robbed, it took me a while to admit out of my mouth that I felt violated. It took me a while to admit that I felt taken advantage of. I can be really vulnerable with you guys. How I really felt was small. I felt like that young man saw me as a bitch. I felt like he saw me like a lick, like he saw me like a mark. And a lot of me really was mad at myself for not seeming tough, for not leaning into the hyper-masculine rhetoric in a sense of, I should have defended myself in these ways. You know, if I would have just grabbed them or hit them, I should have just known, you know. All that started hitting my mind the night of, when it was all over. And I'm gonna be real with y'all, that night of, it was hard. It was hard. I'm telling you, that thought, one of my biggest insecurity is that I am seen as weak. Like, that's a big thing for me. And I'm really working through that. And in that moment, after I had, I had prayed earlier in that night, all that, but y'all know how it is before you go to bed, before you lay it on down, like, them shadow thoughts start getting loud. And it started making me feel like I was small. It made me feel like I was the kind of guy that could have been taken advantage of. And y'all just thank God for community. Who's in your community matters, because I call my best friend in this world. Her name is, shout out to my girl Shan. Her name is DeShanta. She's one of the most brilliant minds I've ever had the opportunity to encounter in this life. And she did a really good job of reassuring me that I didn't do anything wrong. And I didn't know I needed to hear that, but I needed to hear that. Because I was also right about what I said earlier too. Because people did play me like it was my fault. People, why you put them in your car? You can't do that. You shouldn't be doing that. This ain't the world we live in. And all I could think, y'all, was when people were trying to play me like I was crazy. You should have heard the other men that I talked to when I would tell them the story about the robbery. They talking about, man, if it was me, he would have had to take it from me, bro. He would have had to take me. I would have did blah, 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 blah to him if I had the chance. And I'm just like, yeah, and you would have left your kids would have probably been without a father, because you want to be tough. All because you don't want to give a dude your car? Like, this car? Like, I started to feel better about myself as I explored the possibilities, one, of the night, two, of how it could have gone for someone else in my position. Y'all, it got kind of crazy for me that first couple of days, but what it resulted to was me understanding that people have a very skewed vision of how life can go in dangerous moments, because people want to lean, a lot of men lean into their hypermasculinity of feeling like their only definition, the only way they can be perceived as tough is violent. And every time a man questioned me about just not, I don't want to use the word like question, but every time somebody sat and tried to tell me that they would have reacted differently because it would have got physical with them, it always plagued me with the thought, man, you would have, the chances of you losing that encounter were a lot higher than the other guy. Like, the other guy had a really good chance of taking your life. And it would have been a shame to lose you as a beautiful soul on this world, all because you wanted to not be perceived as a hoe, a bitch, a lick. So I had to correct myself. I had to talk to myself a different kind of way and tell myself that I was okay. What I did was me being strong. What I did was the only option. Y'all, I found out later, right? I found out later that that young man had full intention of actually robbing my dad. You know, when we looked at the cameras from the church that night and all that, we found out that young man had been in that church for hours. There are parts where he takes his shoes off and he walks around the church with his socks on so nobody could hear him. He starts cutting lights off in the church. All that. He got real acquainted with that place. He was in the church almost 2.5 hours. He was in there a whole 45 minutes and no one knew he was there. He was going to rob my dad. So for me, looking back on it, the night ended up the best way it could with just me. You know what I'm saying? I even feel like me even conversing with the young man could have been the very thing to spare my life. Even reflecting on it now, as I talk to you guys about this, y'all just, man, life has its ways of showing you that God is real and God is directing this movie. Because the thought of losing my dad, all because of some young man's need to fulfill whatever it is he's trying to fulfill the only way he probably knows how to do that, that hurt more than anything that I felt that week. That hurt more than the shame or more than the embarrassment or more than the anything. The thought of, wow, like he could have taken my father's life. He was planning on trying something with my dad. Like we say a lot down here, like one thing that I always say, it doesn't matter if you have your gun on you if the person with their gun gets to theirs before you get to yours. They have the advantage. They have the leverage. I learned a lot from being robbed. I learned that I still do very well under pressure, one. I learned that my community is amazing. I learned that I know that I am more than the things I have because I know that my life is valuable. The reason I'm telling you this story is because life's job is to test you constantly. Life's job is to force you into positions to where the only thing you can do is really two things. One, go to God, and two, ask God to let who you actually are shine through that moment. Life is going to put your back on the wall. Your job is to take God's help, take God's strength, and push life back. Life ain't going to stop pushing, but you ain't got to let it. The only person that's going to treat you with some real harm, that can really do some damage to you, the most damage to you, is you. Is you. People can come cause you physical pain. People can come and say rude things to you or mean things to you or hurt your feelings. But the pain from that is temporary. The pain from that could very well not stop you at all from you flourishing in this life, from you reaching the purpose that God has you here for, dog. It was hard not looking at this young man as someone who wanted to hurt me, but it was hard because I looked at this young man and said, like, you don't even know, like, I feel bad for you. You don't even know the kind of blessing, the blessed life you could have by actually coming in this church and dialing in, being a part, just asking for a little support, asking for a little help, man, we would have, I personally, I don't even have to say we, I would have personally just wrapped my arms around you, done everything I could do. Young adults are my ministry. 18 to 25. That's God got me here to help talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love young adults. And to know that one potentially threw his life away for nothing. He got nothing. He gained nothing. He spent nothing off my credit card. The money that he got from stealing my rent, man, we could have helped him. We could have given him that. That's what we here to do. Rise. Life is gonna push you. Push it back. Life is just going. It just want to know. It just want to know who you are. It just wants to know who you are. Every bit of adversity you touch on every level of life you're on, it's just a question of who you are. Every time you come out of something, quote unquote, better, as we like to say, is really you just being aware that you came out a sense of whole. You came out of it, period. That's the better. It didn't kill you. The cliche saying, what don't kill you make you stronger, that's a real thing. More so, what don't kill you makes you more aware of who you actually are. That makes you strong. Be strong by being aware. But the only way to be aware fully is to go through said storm, to go through said predicament, to see the adversity, to feel the adversity. Go on ahead. It just hurt. It's just a little pain. It's just a little embarrassment. It's just a little shame, whatever it is that you going through in your time in your life right now, where on this level you are questioning why you not on the next one and you feeling like you drowning as well. The question being asked to you is, who are you? How will you stand? Are you going to stand 10 toes down with your back up, with your head up, with your neck up, even if you got tears in your eyes, still saying, but I'm gonna try? Or are you gonna let life do what it can do and beat your ass and have you in a situation where you are choosing to submit? You don't have to submit. You don't have to. It's crazy. That was July 6th. August 7th, barely a month later. For those who don't know, I put on a concert down here in Memphis, Tennessee. It's one of the best live shows, best live experiences you will ever experience in your life. It's called Black Love Live. It's a soul concert, all live music, all soul artists. And it was one of the biggest feats of my life because the venue that I did this show at, I started my business there 6 years ago. And when I started my business there, I failed. That my first show there was a complete bust, y'all. No one came. I got stormed on. I didn't make any money. I was in almost $10,000 worth of debt. It was rough. It was a rough day that first time. So this time around, 6 years later, I wanted to show the world where my business has grown to. That's what this shirt is for the people watching on YouTube. Black Love. That's my brand. Copy that, blacklovelive.com. Get you one. But I wanted to show the world how much my business had grown. So I went back to the venue I started in, the big boy, the outside park, festival vibes. Y'all, August 7th. My show was August 7th. I got hit with every bit of adversity you can think of being hit with. Also, still coming off of just trying to recover from being robbed. Because after I got robbed just a month ago, all the money that I spent on getting my rent money back, I had to earn my rent money back. I had to get keys made for my car. I had to get certain pieces of my equipment fixed from how he, threw my equipment out of the car. All the money that I ended up spending, I had to make all that back. So it kind of held me back with my show. So by the time my show got there, I was just grateful to be in the situation. Okay, the show is flowing. It's going to go well. We got the money to pay everybody. We doing good. At the show, I get a phone call from one of my very important staff simply saying, Cody, where is your change? Your change is not back here. Y'all, August 7th, 2022, I had gotten robbed. That's right. At my own show, at my show that my business puts on, that I worked my butt off to provide for people, to just make people happy. I feel like God really does have me on this earth to contribute to just making people happy, boosting people's morale. My name is Cody. Cody means cushion. I want to be a soft place for you to land. I want to be able to provide you with leverage. Just being here, being around me. I pray that the light God shines off of me provides such a warm comfort for anybody that comes in contact with me. And I use my business as a conduit for that by putting on concerts. At that concert, August 7th, I got robbed. I found out I got robbed about 7 minutes before I had to be on stage. As my friends and my staff were frantic because they were getting ready to cuss out everybody in the vicinity. Y'all, you know how it is. I don't know if you got ride or die homegirls. That's why all y'all need some good homegirls in your life. Cause if you got some real good homegirls, they will beat up and cuss out anybody that disrespects you. They don't play. They don't play about your boy. My friends don't play about my boy. About me. I said about my boy. About me. My friends are absolutely amazing. All my friends are entrepreneurs. One of my friends that had my back that day, she is a candle maker. And I mean her stuff is phenomenal. The other one is a makeup artist and a painter. I bring that up because they are in the entrepreneur and creative space. So they took me being robbed as a personal offense because they understand. So they were back there frantic, y'all. They going around, they get ready to cuss everybody out. So I get back there after they called me, and I just said calmly, reflecting on what had just happened to me a month ago, y'all, we gonna be okay. You know, I got my life. Y'all got y'all life. This ain't gonna stop me. Being robbed ain't gonna stop me. That is so small. Somebody taking some money from me, that is so small. I'm Cody Little. I can do anything. I can have anything. I am way more than a few dollars, than a few $100s. That ain't what? Come on now. You around me. Having me is the value. I am the value here. I am the currency, not that money. I told them, get on your post. We can be mad about this later. We can worry about this money later. What's more important than this money is y'all being on y'all's post, because we're about to have hundreds of people come in this field, and I need my team at the ready. And they did. They responded how I needed them to. They calmed down. They got up. And they got on their post. Now, when they walked out of that office, and it was just me in the office by myself, y'all, I said, oh, shit, I can't believe this. And then I took a shot. I'm not going to tell y'all what I took a shot of, because one day I want to be endorsed by a whiskey brand, and I don't want to say the wrong name on here. But I took a shot. I looked at myself. And I told myself that the words I just told them are true. This can't stop me. This won't stop me. This is incapable of putting me in a position to dim my own light. This is just a distraction. This is just being robbed at this point in time is just something trying to distract me from the work I'm really supposed to be in here doing. And in that moment, I got the same thing when I was outside on that street. I just got grateful and I started thanking God, because in that moment, I realized that it hadn't changed me. It didn't change me. Being robbed didn't break me. Being taken advantage of didn't break me. It didn't change me. It didn't make me want to diminish who I really am to give the facade of another kind of man so I may not be taken advantage of. I'm Cody Little. I'm going to always stand on being Cody Little. And I say this to you because that show was a success. That show was absolutely amazing. I had a little south of 600 people out there going nuts, partying. Nothing but love in the atmosphere. Nothing but positivity in the atmosphere. I saw families out there that ain't spoke to each other in weeks, hugging each other. I saw mothers and daughters who don't even get to dance together out there dancing together. I refused to let something small take my eye off the possibility of that, being able to contribute to making moments like that. That's what matters. One of my best friends in this world before all this happened came up to me and told me, because she had a similar experience at one of her events, she had been robbed. She said, Cody, you can do this. And I just believed her. She was the only person that I had told that day, right after I got off stage from announcing the first act, that I had just got robbed. Y'all, that show was amazing. I was able to give a teacher $1,000 just for being an amazing educator. That's what we do down here in Memphis. That's what working in your light can provide for other people. Life is way more than about money the things you have. I know it took me a long time to get to this, but I really told y'all those stories about me being robbed, not to talk about my own perspective on perseverance. I told you these stories simply because, y'all, I thought after I got robbed that first time, like, that was just it. You know, I thought that was it. Okay, God, you know, this shit is, you know, you got me. I'm learning, you know. But no, you know what happened? Life happened again. Something else happened. And then something else happened. And what it showed me is that whatever level you are on, friend, something is going to happen that is there to just ask you simply who you are. If you can look at whatever you're going through, whatever you face, whatever complication that comes up that is plaguing you, if you can look at it as just a distraction, that's all it is, friend. It's just a distraction. Whether that distraction is money, that you feel like it may be the lack of time to do a thing or not do a thing, or you may not be able to do it because you be tired or whatever it is. It's distractions. Eliminate that distraction. You got work to do, friend. I don't give a damn about what excuse you give to not be walking in who you know you really are, who you actually are. Not the person that makes the money that you have to be to sustain your lifestyle. Don't get me wrong. Bread is important. You got to make that bread. Hell, I like living good. Shit, it's just a thing. But it ain't everything. And not only is it not everything, but it ain't even really top tier. Because, I mean, even biblically it tell you, your gift will make room for you. But you mad because you ain't working in your gift. I ain't talking about your talent either. I mean your actual, like, I have a lot of talents, right? I play the drums, I DJ, I outsource graphics, I'm a salesman. We ask some of these young ladies what some of my talents are. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Mom, I just had to let that be known. But talents are one thing, but I have the gift of orating, one. And I have the gift of I have the gift of actively boosting morale in almost anything I do. You could smile at somebody and they'll just feel better. God gave me the gift of that. I want to work in my gifts. That's why I'm here doing this. The reason I podcast is because I felt like I just wasn't using one of my gifts. That's changing. I hope you hear my voice and know there's nothing wrong with you, friend. It's just life doing what it do. So you got to do what you do. And what you do is push life back. You can't know me or listen to me and not leave this night, not leave this day. Whenever you listening to me, you cannot leave this moment feeling unsure about what you got to do. Because I'm telling you right now what you got to do. What you got to do is stand up, look at life and go, you ain't finna bully me, bro. Nope. And I'm not talking about like no rhetorical vibes either. I really mean like you might need to go get in the mirror and say, it ain't gonna do it to me. I am amazing. I am a person of value. I have things to offer. I can have anything I want in this world. I can have anything I desire. I just gotta work hard for it. And most of this stuff don't even require you to work hard. It just require you to do a little bit of work. Bet. Be thankful for your community. Be thankful for your will. You have to have the will to push on. You still here. You ain't pulled the trigger on yourself yet. You still here. So it's some kind of will in there. Just make sure your distractions ain't too loud. Maybe getting high and getting drunk all the damn time is really just a distraction. You just think that it's just comfort. You do it too because it provides you a sense of comfort. But maybe that comfort is a distraction for you being who you know you really are. You can have anything you want. Maybe all that work you're doing so you can look busy, sound busy, sing busy. Maybe that work is you distracting yourself. Maybe you're just distracting yourself from who you really are, what you're really supposed to be doing. Don't get me wrong, y'all. We all on the quest to find out what it is we're here to do. All of us, no matter what area, no matter what level, what area, what age we are, we're all still figuring out, man, what am I here to do? But in that, you gotta be trying shit. That is the time for you to really dig in on who you are. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I even like? What do I like to protrude? When was the last time you asked yourself, what perception of me do I want people to have? And do I work towards earning that? You can have anything you want, friend. But you got to really dig into getting to know yourself. That's the thing, though. All those distractions, they're distracting you from that. Once again, life just want to know who you are. So it just sends tests. We just choose to lean into the things of this world that distract us from locking in on who we really are. You know how many of us don't even know what we like? What do you like? Past what you've been exposed to. What do you want to learn about? What do you want to research? What areas do you want to grow in? Ask yourself those questions so you can have an answer. You deserve it. My name's Cody the Grand, Cody Little. Thank you for listening to the Grand Podcast. Make sure you buy you a Black Love shirt at blacklovelive.com. I've had an amazing time with y'all. I love y'all. I promise I do. Please, y'all, lead with giving. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it sounds like, no matter how you seem, lead with giving. Lead with love, man. The world need more love, and they need that love from you, friend. They need it from you. That's why we are without, because we waiting on you. Like I said, we all trying to figure out what we supposed to be doing, but in that, you just got to ask yourself who you are, what you like, what you don't like. Are you doing things you like? Is what you're doing contributing, or are you beating things down? You tearing something down? If what you're doing is contributing, though, you might be on the right path, baby. I ain't really got too much. I didn't even really know what I wanted to talk about today, but I love y'all, and I hope that something was said that can be nourishing.
You gon' have to love yourself. You gon' have to love yourself. Yeah, You gon' have to love yourself. Can't worry about nobody else. Nah, You gon' have to love yourself. You gon' have to love yourself. Yeah, You gon' have to love yourself. Can't worry about nobody else. Self-validation. When you got that, then you can have paper. All it takes is hustle and a little patience. Gotta stay focused even when you get tired of waiting.